What's up? Good morning, Candrea in the building today. Welcome to another episode on Candrea TV. Today I'm your host, and today I'm going to be talking about how to deal with negative people. All right, so let's get right into it. Listen, have you ever wondered what makes someone a negative person? Negative people love bringing others down. Okay, sometimes it seems like that's the only thing they enjoy doing. And so, what should you do when you're faced with a negative friend, a negative coworker, a negative family member, or even a colleague? All right, so stick around because that's what today's topic is going to be about: how to deal with negative people. Okay, so at first you listen, right? Offering like a compassionate ear. You're just basically hoping that their negativity is just a passing phase or whatever. And, after all, everyone has a bad day every now and again, right? Okay, but if you're dealing with a habitually pessimistic person, you're at risk of being drained emotionally. Negativity is pretty prevalent these days, and it could be contagious. I did another video talking about people's emotions and their attitudes being contagious. Negativity can be contagious, and if you don't take action to protect your mindset, you may find that you're walking around mad, and your mood, you'll find that your mood is infected with hostility. Notice I said infected. Okay. Now, so why I said infected, if something is hostile, it's unfriendly, and it's unfriendly, hiding isn't a good option when something's hostile. So you have to try something better if you're in this situation. You have to disarm their negativity, and you have to shield yourself from their hostility. You have to shield yourself, and you can use these simple strategies that I'm about to go over with you. All right. So, to shield yourself from a person's negativity and hostile attitude, the first thing you can do is don't buy into their negativity. All right. Thank you for my YouTubers hopping on. Thanks for joining. So, today we're talking about how to deal with negative people. And the first thing you can do to disarm it is don't buy into their negativity. Allow yourself to become, don't allow yourself to become infected with their toxic negativity. Don't engage in a difficult person's habitual skepticism, whatever you do. Don't stoop to their level, and you want to maintain your own emotional distance. That's what you have to do. This doesn't mean ignoring them or anything, nor should you try to bright side everything, because that doesn't usually work either. When you're trying to convince someone to stop being negative, it may only challenge them and amp up their hostility. So you don't want to tell them that either, okay? Because a difficult person is probably locked into some type of negative mindset that's part of the fabric of their own personality. So doing all those things won't work. A negative person isn't a good choice to turn to when you're feeling down. You can't change their personality, but you might be able to neutralize their toxic outlook. So don't try to change people who are being negative, because it's just gonna work against you and not in your favor. Let me fix my camera real quick, y'all. Hold on. Okay. All right. So that's what you could do for starters to disarm, the negative vibe. The second thing you could do is is just realize you're not their problem solver. So it's not your job to make an unhappy person happy. A lot of people be feeling like they're doing something wrong, or it's them. It's not your job. The only person whose happiness you can control is your own. So if you try changing somebody, you'll fall short and may end up feeling disgruntled yourself. You can and you should remain positive when you're dealing with negative people, but don't trick yourself into thinking you can cheer them up or change their mindset. Okay? The best thing to do is just be secure and keep your own confidence by not doubting your own abilities, and or even undermining your own desire to pursue your own dreams. Because sometimes when you're around negative people, it can make you feel real doubtful about yourself. And don't ever let nobody undermine who you are. Okay. The third thing is give yourself a break. Setting boundaries is how you give yourself a break. You give yourself a break from encroaching negative person. You have to give yourself a break. You need to get some space where you can clear your head after dealing with someone who zaps you emotionally. When they're just zapping your energy, you have to find some space for yourself and recoup and recharge. Okay. You have to keep them at arm's length to avoid being overwhelmed by their toxicity. And you know what? I've already had a problem saying that word, so y'all know it. Hopefully you know what I was trying to say. And I'm not going to attempt to say it again. But basically, this is referring to toxic people, okay? Everyone knows most people live with a smartphone just completely wired to their hand, right? So if that's the case, you aren't required to return every call or every text that comes through immediately with toxic people. You're not obligated to do that. If you know these people are always so negative and they drain you, take your time getting back with them. You don't have to rush. When you're feeling frustrated or annoyed with a difficult person, just take some time to collect your thoughts. Contact them when you feel calmer. Contact them when you feel like it, when you feel better, when you feel like you can talk to them. Then that's when you call them. Okay? Recharge again. Like I said, you have to recharge. So when you do deal with them, you know, you have the endurance and the patience to handle them with grace. That's it. It's wise to limit your exposure to the person when possible, or the people. Okay, so don't ever feel pressure to invite them to lunch. Don't feel pressure to invite them out for some coffee, to a party, to a gathering, whatever. Don't feel that pressure because they're the one who's negative. It's more wise to limit your exposure to these people whenever possible. Again, I can't say that enough. Okay, now when you must hang out with them, then you try to do so in group settings so that, you know, you won't have to deal with them on a one-on-one basis. So that make it like a public meetup or whatever. You make sure it's a group setting so you feel more comfortable. Does that make sense? All right. And then the fourth thing is hold your tongue. When dealing with a negative person, it's rather tempting to let yourself slide into anger or frustration, right? But you want to save yourself the heartache. Okay. It's not even worth it. Responding back angrily only feeds their negativity. Okay. And Eric Tolle calls it the pain body. When you respond to someone's negativity, all you're doing is feeding their pain body. And there goes my light again. If it cuts off again, I'm just leave it off, because I'm about to be done anyway. All right, so hold your tongue. Eventually, they'll realize that you're not giving them the reaction they were seeking. And so they'll just take their angry rants elsewhere. They'll go somewhere else with their angry attitude. Let them. Because all they're going to do is make that other person miserable just as well. Okay? And this is called tempering. This is called tempering when you do this. So try not to take things too personally. Negative people are often so wrapped up in anger about whatever perceived, indignities that they aren't aware of, how insulting they're actually coming across. They're not even aware. So they could also have a valid point. Whatever they're upset about, they could have a valid point about it, even if it's buried in doom and gloom. So if you do happen to respond, just keep it objective and unemotional. That's the main thing. All right. And then the fifth thing you can do is just take charge of the conversation. Let me come forward so y'all can see me, because I know this lighting on this camera and this camera here is perfect. Okay. So the next thing you can do is just take charge of the conversation, right? You can guide the conversation towards neutral topics by gently acknowledging what they're saying before moving on to something new. Just letting them know, okay, I hear you. You don't even have to respond, because you will notice that even sometimes you always try to respond when someone's feeling negative. It only irritates them more. Sometimes they just need to know someone's listening. So you going, okay, and then trying to say something, everything they're saying, it can also be annoying. I know it is for me. I might just need to vent. I might just need to just, take a breather and not have to hear all that. Everyone's different. It actually annoys you more when somebody's always trying to put in their 2 cents every 5 seconds that you're saying something. You're just being expressive. All right. And then the next thing is you want to be the light. Strive to personify positivity. Okay. When you're dealing with someone negative. Y'all can see me move around because that light keep changing. But yes, strive to personify positivity. Wear your enthusiasm like an armor against a negative person's onslaught of hostility. You have to put it on like an invisible armor. Affirm your positivity by, doing nice things for a negative person occasionally. Okay. Small gestures will chip away at their negativity. Okay. They might eventually find joy. But if they don't, so be it. People have to fix themselves eventually. It's not your job. It's not the next person's job to make someone feel happy. They have to do that themselves. Like I said, doing nice things for others will make you feel good about yourself, and it'll affirm your positive mindset. That's all that matters. is doing something that makes you feel good, because obviously if you're not feeling negative, by you doing something positive, that's just going to enhance your positive mindset. So, don't expect massive changes overnight either when you're dealing with a negative person, because it's just not going to happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight unless God has his hands on, because God is the miracle worker, right? So the person you have control over, again, is you, and that's it. So focus on your own happiness, rise above, and remain positive. All right, y'all. So that's all I have for today. I hope you got some value out of this video and these tips on how to deal with negative people in your group or negative people in your life. And that's all I have. Until next time, catch you on the next episode. Stay safe.